Billboard seasonal ranking videos. Remember when I put those out consistently and on time? They're not as cool and trendy as they were before. It's a flawed system for various reasons, but I miss creating them, so we've continued doing them on Lux's blog for a while. They're as fun as ever, as doing quick funny mini reviews of 20 songs at once be, but you know what? Sharing them back on YouTube's a lot more satisfying. So hi big bro, welcome to my channel.
My avatar has emotions.
Aw, now we can be adorable together. This is gonna be a wholesome video, you guys.
Got my peaches out in Georgia. Oh yeah, shit.
As you can see in the title, the American Hot 100 is really boring.
Insert America bad joke.
So we're doing the Global 200 charts top 20 instead. You know, to somewhat keep up with what the whole world is enjoying right now. Also, yeah, as you might be able to tell by some of the songs we'll be discussing, we actually started working on this back in July and changed weeks like 2 different times. Not for many other reasons besides both of us being extremely busy. Though I don't see much of a problem with that. I mean, I have been looking at the charts and honestly not much has been changing. Yeah, I guess it would have been cool to discuss some new stuff that we really like the new Lil Nas X songs, but what else did we miss besides that?
Yeah, I think we're good. We're ranking the week of August 14th, the Global 200's top 20 biggest songs that we haven't talked about yet.
Each of us made an individual ranking of these 20 songs and then we combined them with a very useful point system. And spoiler, this was an extremely good top 20. So much that what we ended up ranking as the worst song on it ended up being... This song is fine. Why is it on number 20 again?
Good question. I guess this is filler more than any of the rest of the songs coming up. That doesn't mean much since this is the first song we're talking about here, but you'll see as the video continues.
I just don't get how a song like this can be at the very bottom of any given combined ranking. Like, the previous 2 rankings we made together, the bottom spots were taken by Without You and Wasted on You. 2 songs that we genuinely hate. Whereas here we have this, I guess? I know it sounds like I'm mad at it for it, but like, no, this is fine. It's just really funny.
It is. It feels like a song that just exists. One that we both lack particularly negative nor positive feelings towards, and it is out our bottom spot. That's never happened before. What do we even have to review here? There's those charming strings thrown into the stiff percussion. Maria has a notable personality that's the most memorable part of this for me, with her high youthful voice and melodic variation being a refreshing contrast to everything else here, which is pretty bleak. The incomplete melody in the chorus definitely adds to that feeling. Maria was born in the year 2000 and is part of one of the biggest hits in Latin America. While J Balvin playing the male perspective in this breakup with his 21-year-old ex is... Wait, let me Google. 36.
The lyrics are the best part about this song. I like the story they tell and they both sound good singing. But this song is not much beyond a nice vibe.
Exactly, which is why I just can't see how this song is capturing this much of the world's attention to the point of it being in the global top 20. I don't see it compared to any of the rest of these. It's not close.
And not only that, but we have many other Latin songs in here, all of which with more to offer than this cute little song right here. Come on guys, we're talking about the literal biggest songs in the entire planet here. Let's talk about something more interesting and out of this world, like, let's say, literal alien music.
Yeah, wanna know what it's like, baby, show me what it's like, I don't got no tights.
Now this is more like it.
This is a weird song, and I mean that in every sense. I really like it, but I'm honestly fine with it being near the bottom of a ranking full of songs that I really like.
Unlike the other songs near the bottom, you can really tell the artist put as much into the song as she could. Need to Know is Doja Cat with no filter, meant to capture the overall aesthetic of her latest album Planet Her perfectly, and it actually succeeds with flying colors.
I listened to the Planet Her album in full a few times now, and I can say that it's not very good. It's fine, but come on, Doja can definitely do much better. However, I do think Need to Know is a highlight. I was not really sure about it at first. That producer, who should remain unnamed, was not the right choice for this very loud, kinda claustrophobic even style of steamy cloud rap, but Doja saves it as she usually does. And I'm not sure if anyone else could have done it better than her.
That's the thing. I think both of them did too good of a job capturing the vibe. You definitely feel like you're having celestial sex with cyborg aliens from the planet Cronus 699 when listening to this, but while suffocating because of the lack of oxygen. This comes from the same somewhat incomplete melody being repeated over and over again with only one instance of production variation. This comes from the same somewhat incomplete melody being repeated over and over again with only one instance of production variation. And this uncomfortable feeling continues until the best part of the song.
You're exciting, boy, come find me. Your eyes told me, girl, come ride me.
This song goes all in with this idea. I remember a few non-existent people saying that Streets felt like you're being tied up and being whipped, but I feel like Need to Know executes it better. Just less dark and eerie and more loud and in your face, which I get can be a hit or miss result for many. I personally think it works.
Yeah, that's fair. Streets and Need to Know can be really hit or miss. Streets is my favorite Doja hit this year, no contest. It isn't static and each notably different verse flows along to the next naturally, but I wouldn't say the same for Need to Know. It looks like static vibes are becoming a mainstream trend this year.
Every time you come around, you know I can't say no.
This song is a waste. And by that I don't mean that the whole thing is a waste. I actually mean that it's a waste of potential. Like, this song could have been amazing.
On one hand, this is expected for Ed Sheeran. He usually lets his calculations get in the way of his genuinely good songwriting, but that doesn't mean it isn't frustrating when the potential is higher than usual, right?
I love the idea behind this song. Ed reflecting on all the bad steps one can take during a night of rush to take themselves to places they don't want to be in, both literally and even mentally. I love when songs like this feel like they're building up to something impactful. That doesn't happen.
Bad habits lead to late nights sitting alone.
This is very flat. Like, seriously, this could have had a great impactful beat if you had just given it to the right production team.
True, that riff portrays all sorts of reminiscing, melancholy and bittersweetness. It very easily could have been taken to the next level, though I don't mind what we have, I guess.
Nothing happens after two. It's true, my bad habits lead to you. My bad habits lead to you.
There it is, that late 2010s EDM post-chorus trope of repeating the kicker line too many times instead of just letting the beautiful instrumental just sit and fill up space on its own.
Habits lead to you.
See how nice that is? When Ed finally lets the beat breathe for once in this song. And guess what? That is the only time that happens here. The last chorus, he repeats the line until the song just ends.
This song takes something that could have been great on paper and just turns it into British people radio filler. Now that's not inherently bad, because there's good filler out there. For example,
Good filler, AM remix.
Are you sure about that?
yeah, I mean, this one doesn't have all that much to it either, but I find it to be really catchy. I was surprised by how much you don't like it.
This one's actually my least favorite Latin song here. It's definitely got a good hook going for it, but not much else. To me, it seems like one of those overstuffed remixes that goes on for way too long and doesn't have much to make it interesting the whole way through. Even the ending where they list out all the artist's credits lasts for 20 seconds.
I guess I hear that. I never heard the original version, so it might have not affected me. Besides that, the only reason why I give this a 4 instead of a 5 is because it's very easy to notice the lack of cohesion between the vibes that the song tries to go for. The performers are singing in a very laid-back, smooth tone, and while the instrumental mostly follows the same path, the main percussion is just too loud. So I'm not sure if this is supposed to be like a club banger or chill driving music.
I admit it definitely had lots of potential like Bad Habits. Its issue was just that it needed to commit to either being melancholic or chill to be taken to the next level.
However, unlike Bad Habits, I do feel I Am a Cool work as both to some extent. And I do really enjoy this song for what it is, even though I understand why you don't. Disagreements and stuff. Now what if...
So yeah, more power to you, but you're at least a little disappointed with this new BTS single, right? Like, at least a little teensy bit?
I won't lie and say that I don't completely understand the criticisms. I do. However, this goes kinda hard, doesn't it?
I guess you could say it does, before the come in anyway. That's the moment that solidifies this as a kid's birthday party anthem for me.
I hate it when artists do this. They make an extremely bright, happy, catchy, colorful song with smooth instrumentation that's clearly meant for Illumination movies end credits, and the worst part, they make them sound really good. I feel like I've been marketed towards by enjoying shit like this.
Oh. Well, in that case, more power to me for not falling for it.
At least I don't have to feel that bad about it. In the end, this little experiment of theirs didn't work for much of anyone. Yes, the song hit #1 on the Hot 100. It seemed like it would be stable, but it's completely gone by now. Again, this video is really late, we're sorry guys, because people decided not to dignify this. Also, the music video sucks, you guys were right on that one.
Lamo, remember when we thought the pandemic would end in June and we would have a hot boy summer on our hands? Anyway, this feels like the Can't Stop the Feeling of 2021 because of its corny end credits energy. I wish I had the tolerance for this stuff sometimes, but I can't bring myself to. And it especially sucks because BTS is a great boy band that deserves to be taken seriously by the world. But that won't happen if their label keeps forcing them to pander to American elementary schoolers rather than letting them be their authentic selves. Did they build a whole army for this?
Some people were really going all in with their desire to keep BTS on top, which is not surprising, but since then both this and their other song to go #1 this year started losing, and the charts started being reigned by a different song. This is what it sounds like.
I do the same thing. I told you that I never would. I told you I changed, even when I knew I never could.
Oh yeah, now this is a vibe. Lightweight and fast-paced, yet filled with surprising emotional peaks. Never would have guessed JB and Kid Laroi had this in them.
I have a complicated relationship with this one. Like, yeah, it was my #20. But I don't even dislike it. But honestly, that's already really high praise for what this is. As some of you might remember, I really didn't like Hold On by Justin Bieber for a variety of reasons. Stay is honestly not all that different from Hold On musically, but there are a few really big changes. Mainly that Stay sounds better than Hold On, but the lyrics are way worse.
Yeah, the lyrics held this back an unfortunate amount. Stay could have been excellent if not for the worrying implications.
I told you I changed, even when I knew I never could. Know that I can't find nobody else as good as you. I need you to stay, need you to stay.
I don't know, I feel like a song with lyrics like this shouldn't sound like this. Never thought I'd be saying this for the Kid Laroi, but I feel like it would be a better fit if this song sounded more exaggeratedly raw and whiny instead of so bright and happy. I'm not saying this is a negative, but it is a weird choice. Now that takes us to the obvious problem, which is that this production really shouldn't have been given to these two. They do sound kinda better than they do normally, but that's clearly the instrumental carrying them, not the other way around.
This is absolutely some of my favorite production of the year. It's ear candy and never gets old. I'm grateful we got a hit out of this sound at all, and even though the two musical acts don't really deserve this, I think they made a really solid hook out of it and used it well. Stay is great to listen to, especially when not paying attention to the meaning of the lyrics and just the sound with the melody. Not the best in the top 20, but solid as far as #1 hits go. This is my favorite of the recent Bieber and Kid Laroi singles by far.
I just don't really care for this either way, and the fact that it is a #1 is still kinda weird to me, but it makes a bit of sense. Pop music is really good right now, but we can't deny that America often plays it safe. So how are they doing it in Europe?
I wanna be a slave, I wanna be a master.
Haha. Doing it.
So I think many of you are already aware of what this is. And if you're not, somehow, I'll summarize it real quick. Maneskin, Italian rock band. They gained attention after performing at X Factor Italia 2017 and broke through worldwide when they became the first Gen Zers to win the Eurovision Song Contest earlier this year.
And not only are they one of the newly charting artists bringing rock back, they're not afraid to push boundaries and be more extra. It makes sense why they're so liked in the Billboard community.
Not only are they liked, they are killing it with chart success, becoming the first Italian band to hit the top 10 in the UK and landing their two biggest hits in this top 20. The first we'll be discussing is I Wanna Be Your Slave, which seems to be more well regarded than their other hit.
We're already at #14 and both of us agree that this song is solid. Not perfect, some awkward lines unfortunately kill a lot of its impact.
Wanna be a good boy, I wanna be a gangster. Cause you could be the beauty and I could be the monster. I love
That first line is good, the alliteration works well, and it really should have been the kicker line instead of the beauty and the
I'm a lawyer who's searching for redemption. And I'm a longer who's searching for redemption.
Europe has thesaurus.com, right?
And if you want to use me, I could be your puppet.
But this is a banger regardless that we didn't know we needed in the mainstream. All it needed was just a little lyrical cleanup.
This song rules. I don't even know how to describe it really, but every time I hear it I get extremely pumped up. And I love how the more the song progresses, the more off the wall it goes. It's aggressive and angry and violent, even though the lyrics are none of this. They're just very explicitly kinky, which I respect. Sonically this kinda reminds me of a villain song, which is something that I always welcome. There's always room for some raw anger. And on that note,
You betrayed me, and I know that you'll never feel sorry.
now of course this is nowhere near the same wild in-your-face type of anger at all, but it sure as hell is raw.
Yeah, almost too raw. This hurts to listen to when I'm in music critic mode, but that's because it's not meant to be consumed that way at all. It's no vibe, no banger, nothing to dance to, but when you're in a certain mood, Traitor really earns its spot this high in the ranking. Which isn't that high, but it's still pretty remarkable given the competition, right?
I love this song, and a big part of that is because it sounds beautiful. Olivia is an amazing vocalist, and I'm one of those who thinks she sounds better on impactful ballads than on anything else.
Actors are trained to deliver every line in their script with as much control as they can over their emotions. So they place them in the right words at the right timing for the best possible execution. That really shows here, where Olivia thoughtfully delivers these lyrics with that right amount of strength without sounding obnoxious. That's a balancing act right there, landing her in the healthy middle of the jar of hearts versus someone you love spectrum of emotional delivery.
Now, talking about the lyrics themselves on a song like this is kinda tricky. Is she talking about what she actually felt in the real life situation with her publicly known ex? Is she just interpreting the character? I don't know, I'm not her. But she sells it and I feel her crushing pain. When I hear this song, I don't hear annoying teenagers bitching about their ex. I instead imagine a friend who's just going through a tough time and might need a hug. Pain can bring out the worst of us sometimes, and we can just come to terms with that, it's fine.
Unfortunately, it's not the only thing that brings out the worst of us. Sometimes it's really good music that does that.
Out of the 3 fully English singles the guys have released in the past year, this one is the least interesting one for sure. Way less unique in the production as something like Dynamite, but it's still an extremely fun track.
It's my favorite of the 3 by a considerable amount, partially because of its unique melody and fun rap bits, and partially because what hurts Permission to Dance and Dynamite the most for me, the sugary wholesomeness, isn't here. Not nearly as much anyway. This belongs in a middle school dance party more than a kindergartner's for what it's worth. The only thing they need to make it cooler now is to add a Megan Thee Stallion verse or something.
So smooth like the car I ride. Even your best party planner couldn't catch this vibe. Big
Oh. Okay.
So I guess this is what we're doing now. Will this keep on being credited on Billboard for the rest of its run? Will it make the year-end list this way? I don't know. But from what I heard, it took a lot of legal process for this remix to be released. Seriously, screw record labels. Stop making it harder for women in the industry, you buffoons. And now that it's released, was it worth it?
I don't know about you, but it's kinda hard to form a serious opinion on this when it has this visualizer. Look at it, it's just so bouncy. What a vibe.
Remixes that follow the pop song with a simple guest verse added formula are a bit tricky, since they don't often subtract much from the original material, at least not sonically. So it depends on the guest star to add a good spin on it to make it good enough. It's less make it better and more don't make it worse. And as we all know, Megan Thee Stallion knows how to make things.
It's a good remix. Not a perfect one. I have a bad habit of being really cynical when it comes to remixes, especially if I love the original, because then I have to hold it to that standard and become really aware of all the new flaws all of a sudden. But for what it is, it works solidly. Replaces the least memorable part of Butter, the second verse, with an awesome rap verse that just has a really awkward transition to the chorus. Whichever version I feel like listening to depends on the day, basically.
Butter is a great song, and you know what? Even after all that happens surrounding its chart performance, I'm always down for fun stuff, especially with more of Meg's presence. So in the end, it might have been worth having the song squat at number 1 for weeks on end, even if Good For You did deserve a few more weeks on top.
Sorry, Butter, but Good For You is the real song of the summer. Not only was it way bigger on the radio and streaming and the normal methods of listening to music, it just represents the past 3 months a lot better. That's honestly the only thing I have to add to the song's conversation. I wouldn't consider it that close to her best work, but for the one track she was actively trying to make really catchy and radio friendly, well, you don't need me to tell you how that turned out.
I do love this song, and it's definitely one of my favorites on Sour, but I think I appreciate it in a far different way than every other song on the album, in that I obviously don't take it that seriously. Why would I? She literally calls this guy a sociopath for moving on too quickly. While many other songs on the album depict someone who's extremely heartbroken and probably doesn't think too much about what she's saying, this song kicks it up a notch. When I hear this song, I hear the character going through a goddamn mental breakdown over this. It's kind of insane, but it works extremely well.
That's the beauty of pop punk. You can tell Olivia listens to a lot of music.
I love that the music video is the way it is, because this song definitely sounds like a cheerleader burning a house down in rage. No joke.
The last thing I'll say about this is that even though it's trying to fit into the mainstream, it's also very much helping transform it. There's been a handful of pop punk returning to the charts before this, depending on how much you stretch that definition at least. But now we have our first rock song at #1 since at least a decade. 2008 with Pink's So What, and then before that, How You Remind Me from 2002. And since Good For You, there's been more and more rock entering the Hot 100, and you see there's this Italian...
I'm begging you to put your loving hand out.
This is
Måneskin's
better single for a variety of reasons. First, because this is a cover and they didn't write the lyrics, so it's a lot less messy and more consistent. And when you combine that with the fiery energy and unapologetic personality of the band, you end up with something really solid.
I've seen far too many comparisons between Damiano David's vocals and other bad, loud vocalists from recent years, which... no. The reason why people bully artists like Louis Capaldi or James Arthur is because they just don't use their raw vocals the right way. They all mostly back them up with some dull acoustic aesthetic, as if they're actively attempting to leave you in a room alone with their simply bad performance, when it's not even what the lyrics need. What we have here instead is the easy fix that those need, something that in itself is loud and kicks ass.
Exactly! The only time you're supposed to strain your vocals is when the song's overall sound and lyrics justify it. Especially in genres meant to sound passionate and raw, like rock. Both of us have listened to this before knowing what the original sounded like, and based on what other people have said about Beggin', I'm pretty sure that changed our perspective on it a significant amount. We just knew that it sounded awesome, and the simple yet effective lyrics certainly contributed to that.
I'm extremely happy about the success of this band. We already have many acts bringing back the pure essence of pop punk and other genres in that style, and I think Måneskin are a decent way to bring back the pure rock style that your dad really liked. A style that kinda needed salvation, kinda like EDM, but how can we say EDM? Hágalo en español, compa.
Latin music outside of reggaeton is gaining real popularity in the West. This is not a drill. These are not collaborations with gringos or anything. I'm so happy. This is such an important moment we are witnessing, guys.
In general, it seems like Latin artists might be the real saviors of EDM, by bringing a different sound that's not new to them, but definitely different to the mainstream. I'm mostly talking about guaracha, which in short, it's a style of music that consists of 2000s house influence and a lot of funny, somewhat horny lyrics. Extremely popular in Spanish-speaking territories. It had been gaining a lot of international attention in recent years, and it's now kind of a go-to for clubs. In case you want the perfect example for what this whole genre is about, go listen to Baila Conmigo from 2019. Probably the first smash hit of this style, even if it never actually crossed over to the US. Actually, Victor Cárdenas, one of the guys who produced that song, also produced Pepas, a true mastermind.
Something new is being brought to the table right now, and it's only a matter of time until it settles and defines 2020's EDM. That is exciting, you guys. I bet this will become a nostalgic staple for many kids today because of how lighthearted, fun, and free it is.
So, in case you Americans didn't know, Pepas is quite literally a song about popping pills. That's what it means.
Oh,
Yeah, it was kind of funny to see Camz realize that this actually had a meaning, even if it was kind of oddly specific. Kind of like Skate to Me Baby was like, what the hell?
Oh, skate to me, baby. Skate.
They chose the song's title out of a hat. They dumped a bunch of one-syllable verbs into a hat and randomly selected one to bring up in the chorus and nowhere else. There's no reason why this couldn't have been Race to Me Baby or something like that.
Ah, Silk Sonic. Remember them?
They left the door open for more, but mostly disappeared for a while.
I'm honestly kind of surprised that this song underperformed. Like, yeah, it would have never done as good as Leave the Door Open did. But jeez, this song is basically long gone at this point.
It had a good run. It was played a ton on the stations I listened to, and it did a good job at lightening up the mood with those funky, stellar instruments, but there's no way it would last any longer overplayed without losing its charm. It's like a beautiful, sugary desert that makes you feel tired and sluggish after a couple hours of high energy.
I honestly don't have a lot to say about Skate. Like, sure, I love it, but like, of course I do. It has such a beautiful production and the voice sound even better here than on Leave the Door Open, I'd say. Lightning can strike twice with this good of a combo.
Oh, it sure can. I suspect not for long though, because people are gonna get tired of these retro throwbacks. But it has been proven time and time again with how much they can tolerate them. Just look at how long the Weeknd singles last. I finally figured out why the original Save Your Tears does nothing for me. Partially because the gets sold fast, but mostly because it doesn't have enough interesting or thrilling or has any of those kinds of exciting moments going for it that other of his songs do. There are obviously good qualities about Save Your Tears, but they don't come in full circle. So it's not satisfying in the end. That's why I like this remix a lot more. What Ariana adds through her new voice gives me something to chew on. She's not doing anything super new or impressive, so I can see why Lux prefers the original more, but
honestly though, I don't actually know if this is better than the original or not anymore. But the original is still a strong contender for my favorite hit of the year, and so is the remix, kinda. I mean, I still think Ari sounds kinda weird, but it doesn't mean that she doesn't sound good. In fact, her softer, deeper tone fits the atmosphere better than I initially gave it credit for. I still don't quite hear what exactly this remix made better to make it click for so many who didn't previously like the song, which seems to be a pattern, but hey, good stuff is good stuff.
Vibes are vibes. They can't go hard because then they become bangers, but a little bit of dynamics and flow change can go a long way. Like,
watch her video, ooh.
Insert clever funny comment about anime Bad Bunny. Okay, but actually the song was at the top of my ranking before I listened to Happier Than Ever. Yonaguni is so underrated in this community. Bad Bunny really gave this one a ton of time and care to give it the best execution he could. Perfectionism is when you turn a song with the basic concepts like missing an ex so much you travel far for her and basic standard production into something genuinely heartbreaking through the absolute precise songwriting. I know what I said sounds pretty ridiculous for such an overlooked song, but as a Spanish speaker, I'm just so impressed with these flows. Like this one in the chorus. This is so effective. It rhymes the lines from before with a list of all these things he missed about the girl, just dumping them on you. But Camz, he's randomly horny in the middle of his vent. Yeah, drunk men be like that. This goes to show how pathetic this guy is and is so realistic. More and more lists, more messy venting. Little things like this go a long way to show how much emotional chaos and confusion Bad Bunny is in right now.
Yonaguni, besides the metaphor, is a very appropriate title for this song, because I do feel in a sweet, tropical paradise when listening to it and this beat. I was really pleasantly surprised by this, though I still don't think it's better than Dakiti, which I've come to realize is one of my favorite hits of the year. And even then, when it comes to relaxing vibes in this top 20, nothing can really compare to...
Sometimes all I think about is you. Late nights in the middle of June.
I doubt my audience would be into cheesy high school drama Netflix shows, but when Paxton kissed Devi and Never Have I Ever and Heat Waves played in the background, that moment shook me. I don't know if they could have chosen a better pop song for that moment.
Did you guys know that this song, Heat Waves by Glass Animals, first hit the Hot 100 on the week of January 16, 2021, at the same time as Anyone, Girl Like Me, and Back in Blood? And it is accurate to say that it's bigger than ever right now. Sleeper hits are a cool concept, man.
Look at how much higher this is on the projected year-end list, as it should. It's better than most of these. Sonically, it's honestly perfection with the different production bits coming in at the right moments that build the energy up just right. So purposeful and precise, I love that. And the lyrics aren't as good, but are adorable enough to get a thumbs up from me.
You can tell why the US collectively decided to embrace this song, even keeping it as one of the most streamed songs in the country way over a year after release. It's just so charming and one of the best songs on Dreamland, an album I still really love. Now this is the part where I brag about how happy I am that Glass Animals, a band I've been loving for around 5 years at this point, are getting this much attention. The first time I became aware of them was when a friend of mine recommended me their 2014 album Zava, and it was a really comforting experience and most definitely a great first impression. Way better than it would be for an average American to first discover one of the biggest Latin artists in the world through a Selena Gomez collab, that's for sure. I'm half joking, obviously. I like that other Baila Conmigo a lot, but this is the definitive Raúl Alejandro song for a reason. The best way to describe this song is that it's a really pleasant experience when my Uber driver plays it on the way to school. And I don't think there's much beyond that. It's just a song that's impossible to dislike and really fun to sing along to as well, especially with how sweet the lyrics are.
But its magic lies in its vibe. Raúl really came across a great hook here and put the effort to use it to its fullest potential with low-key snaps and synths. His voice is really soft and cute and he keeps gliding through these different melodies. Like, how can this not bring a smile to your face? At least make you feel comfortable.
It's obviously not our personal favorite, but out of all these good vibe songs, this one is a great option to be the highest of them all. So now it's the perfect time for the two epic titans of this top 20, which you all already predicted. Let's kick it off with one for the champions.
I told you long ago on the road, I got what they waiting for.
This song fucking rules.
It might as well be Zoomer's We Are the Champions, from the grand horns clearly inspired by SpongeBob's Sweet Victory, to the references to sand culture, to the unapologetic queerness, to...
I'm done making jokes cause they got old like baby boomers.
This is a very silly song that's a whole lot of fun all the way through.
This is my favorite Lil Nas X song, and it's easy to explain why. He's great at making absolute bangers, and he's also great at making more introspective songs, where he basically talks to himself and remembers his rise to fame and how it affected his life. Industry Baby is the song where Nas takes all of this and kicks it up to the highest level and turns it into exactly what he deserves, a triumphant victory scream. This song is basically just that, about winning. Winning literally sounds like this. Basically the Can't Hold Us of 2021. Even Jack Harlow completely nails this vibe. Also, this isn't related to anything, but I absolutely love Jack's delivery of this line.
I don't clear up rumors. Where's y'all sense of humor?
Just kind of slick, I don't know. So yeah, one of the biggest bangers we've had in recent times, and definitely one of the best songs of the year, even if it is not better than Happier Than Ever by Billie Eilish.
When I'm away from you.
It only takes one listen to understand the hype around this one.
This is one of the best things Billie has ever put out, and I'm so happy that she realizes this. I mean, she did name the album after it.
Nah, this is the best thing she has released, and we're talking about the woman who also did Everything I Wanted and When the Party's Over. Happier Than Ever is Titanic. Yeah, the lyrics and production are obviously great, but no one cares about that when that moment comes.
That moment is pretty great, but I beg of you who haven't heard it, and even the people who have but don't have much thought on it, finish this video, go put on some headphones, and fully immerse yourselves into the song. Pay attention to the lyrics and how they build up throughout the song. There's a good reason for this to be as long as it is, and no pointless radio edit will do it justice.
That's all that needs to be said, really. Happier Than Ever is a song to be felt and belted, not broken down or analyzed. Yes, it's one of those songs.
So yeah, these are our scores.
As you can see, my score is way lower than Lux's, and yet it's still the highest score I've given a musical season by far.
I don't even know what else to say about the current state of pop music. At this point, I'm basically repeating myself when I say that it just keeps getting better and better. Yeah, unfortunately stuff has changed a tiny bit since this week, but hey, 2021 was still 2021 after all.
I think music's been strong lately because of the new ideas being brought to the mainstream table, like the new vibey sounds, updated pop punk and huaracha as just a couple. With the radio dying, people are listening to what they genuinely enjoy more, so that's why we've got much more interesting material to look at. This vibey era will absolutely be looked at by pop culture historians as iconic. So to make things easier for them, I went ahead and made a playlist representing this moment in music. I've been going at them since spring of last year. This is my 6th seasonal playlist. I have the rest in the description.
As for me, well, I don't properly make videos on YouTube for now, but I do have a vlog that admittedly has been kind of inactive, but there will actually be more stuff on it soon, I promise. There you can find the previous 2 seasonal rankings that Camz and I did together. Reading is fun sometimes, especially now that you have my voice in your mind.
Not much to say other than follow both of our Twitters. We stream Roblox together on my Twitch often. And any last words, bro?
Well, actually, yeah, I'd like to say
Lux is not actually my brother.